Welcome back. Have you ever apologized for needing or wanting a break? Or ever felt guilty for just wanting one day where no one needed you? Or maybe you've wondered, is it selfish for me to want more for myself? Or maybe you've just thought it is selfish to want more. That's what you were raised to believe, and that's what you've accepted up to now as the truth. If that sounds like you, I want you to lean in right now because today we're going to talk about the hidden guilt that so many high functioning women carry and why wanting more for yourself does not make you selfish. It is actually a sign that your nervous system is waking up. The real question isn't, is this selfish? It's, what have you been taught to sacrifice? I'm going to say that again. What have you been taught to sacrifice? Most women that I work with, they have spent years, if not decades, over giving, over functioning, over achieving. And they don't just carry everything on this to-do list, they carry the weight of everyone's emotions in virtually every room that they walk into. They've been praised for their strength, but beneath that strength, there's been guilt, and a lot of it. Guilt for wanting peace, guilt for wanting space, rest, more joy, less responsibility. And that guilt doesn't just come from nowhere. It's a nervous system deep experience because the moment that you want more, your subconscious probably whispers things, something like, if I stop doing everything, who will I be? If I stop doing everything, who's going to do it? If I speak up, will I be perceived as too much? If I speak up, will I be ignored? If I change, will my people still need me? Will they still love me? That's not selfishness. That is a fear of losing belonging. I want you to really pause and think, okay, to what extent is this resonating with me? If you have been wired in this way, you have also been wired to abandon yourself in the name of safety. And I'm going to give you a couple examples where this may be particularly true. If you grew up with parents or caregivers who were emotionally unavailable, if you were punished, reprimanded, or rejected for expressing your needs, if love was conditional based on how well you did or how well you performed or certain behavior or how useful you were perceived as, then your nervous system probably learned safety equals self-abandonment. And what does that look like right now? Probably things like saying, I'm fine, when you're not. That was protection. Or minimizing your needs so that someone else doesn't get upset, or trying to make sure that you say things in the quote unquote right way. That's strategy. That's self-protection. Trying to perform in a perfect way so that no one has any reason to criticize you. That's wearing armor. That's self-protection. So oftentimes, especially if you can see yourself in these things, guilt isn't moral. It is your subconscious, your nervous system trying to protect you, but it doesn't need to. You learn to regulate your nervous system by making other people more comfortable. But here's the problem with that. You cannot heal from this if you're always managing everyone else's comfort. You can't expand if you are shrinking yourself in order to avoid feeling guilt or feeling any other experience. What got you to this point will now be what keeps you here and keeps you stuck. So I'm going to repeat what I just said, just for emphasis. You cannot heal if you are always working to manage everyone else's comfort. And you can't expand if you are still shrinking yourself to avoid guilt. I want you right now just to take a deep breath with me. Inhale through your nose and expand your belly. And take a deep breath out of your mouth. One more time. And if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, do that. Even if right now, maybe you're multitasking and you're cleaning the house or something, pause, close your eyes. If you're driving, obviously don't do that. Ask yourself this question. If I were 10% more regulated, 10% more grounded, who else besides me would benefit? What shifts with your spouse, in your parenting, in your relationships, in your presence with yourself? Wanting more for yourself isn't selfish, it's generous. Can you see that? When you are even just a little bit more grounded, a little bit more regulated, it flows into every relationship you have at work and at home. Are you willing to buy into that? Healing doesn't just change you, it literally changes everyone that you touch. Now, I wanted to tell you real quick about one of my clients, Jennifer. She joined my retreat exhausted. She was the emotional go-to person in her family and at work. Everyone came to her for advice, support, a listening ear. And while she loved her people, she felt like she was drowning. She felt overwhelmed. She felt exhausted. She felt anxious. And on day one of Bravecation, when she showed up, she mentioned that she had never taken time like this and was feeling guilty. But before the end of the retreat, she actually sat in front of the group, tears in her eyes, and she said, Bravecation was one of the most beautiful and empowering experiences I've ever had in my life. She told me, I was in awe of you, in awe of how you knew exactly how to respond. It almost felt as if there was some kind of higher power that was moving through you. And she also told me you coaxed us into having breakthroughs and gave us permission to be ourselves, to drop whatever the armor was that we had on. And I never experienced the level of empathy and understanding and lack of judgment that you gave me before. She said she had never experienced that. And then she told me the retreat made me feel so much stronger and has empowered me to do things that I was afraid of before. I want to tell you about another client, Carrie. She came into the retreat feeling just the constant pressure to get it right. And she felt burned out that, nothing could really touch. No time management strategies could help her feel less burned out. And she told me, I thought I just needed tools to reset my boundaries and maybe recharge my energy. And then she continued and she said, I left feeling more grounded, more honest with myself, and more capable. And it has already had a profound impact on me personally and professionally. It has shaped how I lead, how I parent, how I love, and how I respond. That is just a glimpse of what happens when you choose not to believe the guilt. That's a glimpse of what happens when you choose to honor the part of you that has been begging you to prioritize yourself. So I'm going to ask you this. What if you stopped apologizing for wanting more? Imagine a life where you no longer feel the need to get permission to rest, where you feel grounded even when others have big emotions, when you don't over-explain your no, and when you choose peace and trust that it will hold. This isn't a fantasy. It is what happens when you stop settling for just coping and you do start deep healing. And this is exactly why I created Bravecation, which is an immersive transformational retreat where women like you step away from the noise and step into nervous system safety, emotional freedom, and an opportunity to embody what self-trust actually is. If this episode stirred up something in you, maybe part of you is whispering like, oh my gosh, I really need this. Like I've done the work, but this sounds like the next right step. Even if there's another part of you that's negotiating like, oh, I don't know, can we really do it? I want to invite you to just join the Bravecation priority list, take one step, Get on the list, and when you do, you will get exclusive early access when the doors open, first dibs before the public ever sees it, and I'll also gift you a free meditation, Return to Center. All you have to do is go to Brave Method, www.brave-method.com/priority-list. I'll go ahead and put that in the show notes so you can just click the link. And alternatively, you can send me a direct message on Instagram or on Facebook with the word ready, and we'll get your name on the list. This isn't just a retreat. It is your homecoming. It is your nervous system reset, and it is the reminder that choosing yourself is never selfish because it impacts every single relationship in your life. Take the brave step. You've got this.